Alright, so in this video I'm basically going to share with you guys how I run my clock, the tips and tricks that I use to maximize my miles before the pay period ends. You know what I mean? So as you guys know, more miles equals more money, and of course that's what we're all here for. This question came from, again, Corey Wells. That's a good point that I needed to touch on, so thankful for your comment down below. Scott Key also commented and asked a valid question: what do I think about drivers, if you should be a company driver when you just start, or should you go lease? I'm going to share my opinion on that also. I believe it solely depends on the individual, so I'm going to share my opinion on that. Also, Chris pulling 18 wheels, I seen your comment down below, bro, saying you were here from day one. I appreciate that. Of course, I do remember you saying, you always listen to my videos and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I'm still not where I want to be. As you can see, I'm still on the journey. You know what I mean? Thankful for it, that you guys from day one that's been following the channel, and those of you guys who are new to the channel also that's been supporting the videos. Thanks for the likes and everything. Thanks for all the comments. You know what I mean? It really helps out the video, and it personally helps me, motivate me more to put more videos out there for you guys. So I'm going to be sharing all those few key points. Also, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. I drop at least 2 videos per week here on Transam, being a new driver, truck driver in general, trucking content. And at the end of the video, if you guys find this video useful, find the information useful, all you gotta do, man, just like the video. Comment down below, let me know what you guys think. If you guys are doing some of these things, let me know if I missed anything. Oh, speaking of missing anything, I did miss a few points in my last video about things that you need when you basically just start, so I'm going to share that in this video also. Comment down below, let me know what you guys think. If there's anything that I basically missed, or that you guys do different from what I do to make as much miles, just comment down below and let me know, so I can start doing them, because I'm all about making the miles, and more miles equals more money, and of course that's what we're here for. So stick around after the intro. I'm gonna share all those views with you guys. Alright, so let's dive right into the video, and I got a couple really good points that I really want to touch on basically. Let's start with what Scott Key had asked about leasing, if I think you should go leasing as a new driver. Like I said, I feel like it solely depends on the individual, you know what I mean? It depends on what you got going on. Let's say you come here, you ain't got no experience, you're fresh out of school. What's your end game? Like, what's your 5-year plan? Maybe you want to own a truck. Maybe, you know what I mean, if you see yourself owning a truck maybe over the next 5 years, earlier or later, I think leasing is a way to go, or if you like a short-term thing, like in a year you want to own your truck, or 2 years, or whatever the case is, I think you should go right for lease if that's the case. You know what I mean? It depends on your work ethics also. So let's say you're the type of person that, you're laid back, you don't really, not that you don't want to work as you're working, but let's say, Transam gives you 500 miles to run, and they give you 3 days to run the 500 miles. Are you the type of person that's going to take the 3 days to run the 500 miles because you can drive 500 miles in 1 day? Or are you the type of person that's going to see it's 500 miles, you got 3 days to get it there, and you're going to get it there the same day? You know what I mean? I think that's a major part in it. What if you like to go home? You're the type of person that wants to go home every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks, you know what I mean? And you don't run that hard. You know what I mean? The leasing is not, I wouldn't say go leasing if you're that type of person. But if, on the other hand, if you want some experience of like how to run a truck, I feel like the leasing aspect of it is a good part for you to try. You know what I mean? I feel like it coaches you as an owner operator how to operate your business. You know what I mean? You're basically in training, as how to operate your business. So when you get your own truck, you already know the steps and how to execute everything. That's what I think about the leasing part of it. If you know you're gonna stay out, if you know you're gonna run hard, then you can take the risk and go for leasing. But if you're more laid back, I don't think you should do it. the next part that I wanted to touch on basically is what Corey Wells had mentioned down below. How do I run my clock? And I really want to share this with you guys, because I have different scenarios that I've been through since over the period of time, but I'm going to use a prime example of what's happening like right now in this pay period. Tonight, it's Thursday night right now. So the pay period cuts off tonight, and I got a real interesting story that I want to share with you guys. You know, it's basically, I'm the type of person that as soon as my clock resets, I'm moving. You know what I mean? I'm always trying to scrape as much miles as I possibly can, and I'm always trying to conserve as much minutes off my clock that I basically can. I did the previous video that's basically saying like what you guys should know, like 6 minutes for fueling, on duty time, 1 minute to send your forms, 5-minute pre-trip. Like, that's how I do my thing, you know what I mean? So I don't take 5 minutes to pre-trip my truck. I pre-trip my truck before. So let's say my clock restarts at 10. My 10 break is gonna up at like 10 a.m. in the morning. I'm up from like 9:30. So from 9:30 I go outside my truck and I actually pre-trip my truck. And then when 10 o'clock comes, I go on duty and I log my pre-trip for only 5 minutes. So I'm only logging it for 5 minutes, but I'm actually doing a pre-trip for as long as it takes outside the truck. You know what I mean? So that's conserving my clock. I'm the type of person that drives 5 miles per hour from under 5 miles per hour, so it doesn't trip my clock in certain circumstances. Like if I'm sitting at a shipper, or and I already sat for a long period of time, or you know what I mean? Like all those tricks and all the tricks in the book, that's what I use. And I learn as I go. I'm not perfect. I don't know everything, but I know a few things and it's worked for me. You guys can use these things that I'm gonna tell you about and help you to make more miles. If I'm missing anything, just comment down below. Let me know how you guys do it if you already started, you know what I mean? And let me know if you think this makes sense. So like I said, I'm gonna give you the perfect scenario. I ran to California. Right now I'm in Kentucky. I ran to California, right? First time out there and everything. When I got out there, I met this lease driver. I met 2 other dedicated drivers out there, right? One of them, I started talking with him. He's been on a dedicated account for like 3 months. He's doing okay. Basically we exchanged numbers and we were talking and everything. So long story short, we're running the same roads. So he's going where I'm going. So I went there, and when I got there, they were already there. So I got unloaded, they got unloaded. I got loaded in the same dock. I didn't move out my dock. So I emptied out, and then I just went to get my paperwork, went back in again, and they reloaded my trailer, and I was supposed to be on my way. Now the key thing I want to share with you guys right here now. The 2 guys that I met at that shipper, they left 7 hours before I did, right? 7 hours, I counted it. They left 7 hours ahead of me because I was still in my break when they left. And they're going to the same destination in Ohio. Okay, so it's 2,100 miles loaded back to Ohio from California. So I head out, start moving, doing what I do. Like I said, as soon as my break is up, I'm gone. Like sometimes I run overnight. It all depends, you know what I mean? So I get up the road because I decided that before I even came to that conclusion, before I even get to that, like I decided that I was going to stay out, you know what I mean? Maybe because I'm used to staying out for 3 weeks or whatever, and dedicated only like 11 days to 14 days. So I decided that I was going to stay out. So anyways, I get up the road, I'm running my clock, and then I end up hitting my 70, which I don't usually do, but coming from Florida, I was so excited. I run like 10 hours every day to get to California. So I wasn't paying attention to my clock going over there. So I hit my 70. So one of the days I could not run. So I was sitting and I was like, okay. I calculated all my time. I count how many hours, how many miles I'm going to drive. And I seen that I was still going to make it for on-time delivery. I was still going to make it before the appointment time. And it was a drop on the other hand. Those of you guys that know about a drop, when it's a drop trailer, you can go there basically anytime. You know what I mean? Not necessarily anytime because you can't go there too late, but you can go there anytime before. So with that being said, I hit my 70, so I had to sit for one day. I believe it was on Monday. I had to sit for the entire day. So decided that's when I decided that I was going to stay out. So my 34 reset would have came at like let's say 3 o'clock in the morning, and at 12 midnight I was actually recapping 11 hours, because this was a period of time that I already sat for one day. Yeah, and then at 12 the other night I was going to start recapping hours. So I was going to recap 11 hours. Now I thought to myself, what do I do? Do I run off the recaps at midnight, or do I sit for 3 extra hours and take a full 34 reset? If I take the full 34 reset, I'm still going to make it for on-time delivery. Why not? You know what I mean? So I went ahead, I took the 34 reset in the morning. I called my driver manager and told him, like, hey, I wanted to stay out a little longer. Just send me home XYZ time. He's like, yeah, sure, man, no problem. So I let him know I took the 34 reset, but I'm still going to make it on time. Now, I had 600 miles left out of the 2100 miles. Not more, yeah, more like 600. So, and I had 2 more hours left of drive time. So as I was driving, I seen a truck pull out of a rest stop. It turns out it's the same guy from California, the dedicated driver that I was talking to. So he had my number. So when he seen me, he called me. So I started talking to him on the phone, and he's like, how did you get here, and da 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 da. And he's like, oh man, I don't run overnight, I can't do that, this, that, and the third. And he's asking me when was my appointment time. So I told him my appointment time, and then he's like, why would they give you an earlier appointment time than I? And it's like he caught like a little vibe, like I could feel a vibe, like let me tell y'all this, man. People gonna want to see you doing good, but people not gonna want to see you doing better than them. You know what I mean? Not everybody is like that. I personally, if I share all these opinions with you guys, and you guys are using all these things, or you guys are doing whatever, and you're doing it better than me, you come in and say, hey Jay, I'm making 3,000 miles like every week, bro, and I'm only making 2,800. I'm happy for you. I'm glad. I'm not that type of person that's going to say, da 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 da, this, that, and the third, or whatever. So it kind of caught like a vibe at first, and then he started telling me, don't go to that receiver early, because the way it works, if you go there early, it's only going to be one loaded trailer, and it's like a small receiver, and whatever, you know what I mean? So I had 2 more hours that I was going to drive. And I said, you know what I mean, you're probably going to get there because you're just coming off your break. You only got 600 miles. You can do that, in one run, whatever the case. And I have a fuel solution up the road also. But I'm going to stop before. So I ended up taking my 10-hour break. Took my 10-hour break. As soon as my clock was up, I'm on the road again. Went up the road, fueled, got to my location. Now, my appointment time was 10 o'clock at night. As I was like 10 miles away, they changed my appointment time to 12 midnight. Still didn't pay any attention to that. Still kept going. All right. So I got there at 12 midday. Midday, right? My appointment time wasn't until 10 o'clock that night. Got there, dropped my trailer, picked up my empty, went across the road and parked, shut down, and I slept, went in my sleeper berth for 6 hours. You know what I mean? Because I had run overnight and whatever the case is. So went in my sleeper berth for 6 hours. So I slept for 6 hours. When I woke up, start my truck, decided I was going to go to the pilot and go take a shower, I see the other guy pulling out. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, damn, this guy really sits back and wastes a lot of time. Remember, they left California 7 hours before I did. I left 7 hours later. On top of leaving 7 hours later, I took a 34 reset, sat for 34 hours out of that period of time of traveling on my way back from California to come all the way over to Ohio. And I still was ahead of him. Even so, when I met up with him, when I had 600 miles left, I took a 10-hour break when he had a fresh clock. I still got to the receiver before him. I still dropped my trailer before him. He came up to me and he said to me, because when he seen my truck, he thought I was just parked and I was still loaded. I'm like, nah, man, I dropped my trailer and everything already, and I have my empty. And my next load they gave me another load, but the load picks up on Friday. So the planners were gonna have me sit on Thursday, which is today. You know what I mean? So I wasn't mad about it. I was like, okay, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I'd rather to try and know that it works than rather to sit and say, oh, I'm gonna take all the time they give me and not try. You know what I mean? So with that being said, they gave me this load, and it picks up at Friday morning. Thursday is the pay period. The pay period ends, so I'm always trying to get as much miles in. So I'm already sitting on like 2,500 miles, and if they had given me a load on Thursday, I could have ran at least another 500, which is going to put me right in the mark that I want to be. So the guy is going to the same shipper in, I believe, Kentucky, that I'm going to go to, right? We basically have the same appointment time, but it's for Friday. You know what I mean? I get an earlier appointment time than he did because he just basically dropped his load. Mine was like 2 hours earlier. I think it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and mine was like 12 or whatever the case is. But regardless, we both would have to sit for a whole day on Thursday. So my clock basically reset at like 10 o'clock at night. At 9:45, the planners text me and said, hey Jay, I'm going to take this load off you that we gave you. We're going to get you running, to get you running again. They gave me a relay up the road. So they sent me to a location. Driver was going to come like at 3 o'clock in the morning. I picked that load up, dropped that load off in the early morning, and then after that, they gave me another load in Thursday. So I got another additional 100 miles, 120 miles to drive empty, because we get paid empty and loaded miles. So I'm already at 26 going on 2,700 miles right now. I had some difficulties. They messed up with the shipper location, so I couldn't find the shipper. So that kind of messed up how I planned out my time. You know what I mean? So sitting on like 2,700 miles right now, and I'm basically on my break. So being that I went on break, I think it was probably like 1. So 1 plus 10, if I stayed off duty for 10 hours, 1 plus 10 is basically 11 o'clock. That's only going to leave me an hour to run as much miles before 12 midnight hits. The next thing I did, I'm in Kentucky right now. The next thing I did, I googled what time it was in Kansas, because the time that's in Kansas, that's the time the pay period cuts off. Turns out Kansas is 1 hour behind. So now I have not 1 hour to run once my clock resets, but 2 hours. 2 hours, that's an additional, if I run for 2 hours full governed speed, that's 120 miles. So that's going to put me at like 2,800 miles now. You know what I mean? It's bringing me closer. The next thing I did on top of that is I did an 8 to 10 split. So basically, instead of staying inside the sleeper berth for 10 hours, instead of staying offline for 10 hours, I'm only going to stay offline for 8 hours and then just run the remaining of what I had, my drive line, you know what I mean? And then after that runs out, I sit for 2 hours. So my clock should reset in around like 9:30, I believe. I should be able to take the split. Once 9:30 hits, it's going to be like 8:30. So from 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, and 12 o'clock. That's basically like 4 hours. In 4 hours, that's 240 miles. You know what I mean? At full governed speed. Best case scenario. Let's say, so I'm just going to round it off and say I can run at least, let's say there's 200. So that's going to put me right in the bracket that I want, like 2,900 miles, close to 3,000 miles. You know what I mean? I hope you guys get what I'm trying to show you, how I run my clock. Like every minute counts. Like every minute counts. As soon as I pull up to a shipper, if I'm in line, I go off duty. You know what I mean? I save that shift time for when you really need it, because you might be in traffic. Something might hold you up the road, you know what I mean? So like every minute counts, and that's the way I run my clock on every trip. You know what I mean? The only time I don't push as hard to get somewhere is when it's like a Walmart load, because you can't really drop it early at a Walmart. And I always just get there and get it out the way and sit. Especially if you're a lease driver, you need to do that, because what could happen for you if you're a lease driver, if the planners, they like you like that and they see that you're running hard, when you have a Walmart load and you get there early and you're sitting, what they'll have you do, they'll say, oh, instead of having you sitting, you know what, I'm going to let you backtrack for like 50 miles, and then I'm going to just have a company driver come take that load off you, and I'm going to get you moving again. You know what I mean? You need to be doing these things. You know what I mean? When you do these, sometimes it work. Sometimes you go there, you get to a receiver, and they tell you, oh, your appointment time is like tomorrow. They can't unload you. You just sit. It is what it is. But sometimes you get there and they say, oh man, you're here a whole day early. You know what? Let me talk to my guys. Let me see if we can take you. Boom, they get you unloaded. You still have some time on your shift. Send your empty call in. You have like 3-4 hours left on your clock. You send your empty call in. They give you a load, 100 miles empty and 500 miles loaded. That 100 miles, you still got 3-4 hours left on your clock. Boom, you're ready again. You know what I mean? So that's how I run my clock. When I got my family back home, I got, I'm missing out. There's a lot of stuff that I could be doing. I like to ride my motorcycle. I like to have fun. I'm out here working. You know what I mean? I left home, living outside of a truck. You know what I mean? So when I come out here, I don't got time to play games. I don't got time to, to play around. I try to make the best of what's going on right here, and then when I go home, I get to relax. You know what I mean? More miles, more money. You keep them wheels turning, you're going to be earning. That's how I see it, you know what I mean? So I just wanted to pop in and share that with you guys. That's a good topic that Corey had mentioned also. And in the last video that I did, I missed a few things that, what you guys should have when you probably just start out, you know what I mean? And the Rand McNally, it's a secondary navigation system. That's very good to have. That's a good investment to have also. You know what I mean? And your safety vest. Some shippers, basically, they won't let you in if you don't got this little thing. Some shippers and some receivers, if you don't have it, they're not going to let you in. And some places, if you don't have it, they actually sell it right there. And they sell it for like maybe $30, when you could probably get it cheaper at Walmart or something. You know what I mean? So little stuff like that, that's going to help you out to get. But I just wanted to check in with you guys and let you guys know that, you know what I mean? If you guys find this information valuable as usual, man, just drop a like on the video. It really helps out the channel, to help the channel to grow, and it motivates me more to put more videos like this out there. I have a next specific topic that I wanted to talk about, which is I'm going to do in a separate video, which is service failures. And another key thing, I won't mention what it is, but I look out for that video. I'm going to drop it for like Sunday. I think I'm going to post this one tonight, which is Thursday night or Friday morning, whichever one. Just drop a like on the video, man. Comment down below, let me know what you guys think, if you found this information valuable, if you guys are doing any of these things, and let me know if you guys are doing something that's different, that can help me out. You know what I mean? I like to learn. I like to listen. I don't feel like I'm a know-it-all or whatever the case is. I like to learn. So drop that down below. And if it's the first time watching this video, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I drop at least 2 videos per week on being a new truck driver or working at Transam. Also, I have a whole bunch of other videos that has really valuable information. I'm going to drop some links down below to that, so you guys could just check out the channel. In the meantime, man, stay safe out there. And I'll see you guys hopefully sometimes, maybe at a pilot rest stop or whatever in one of these terminals. You know what I mean? Stay safe and get this money. All right?